And we have returned to listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. Well, I have here, and I had this yesterday. This is from Newsmax, and Brian Freeman is the journalist or the reporter on this article. It says here that there's a record number of immigrant families caught illegally crossing the border last month. Immigrant families attempted to sneak into the United States in October at a rate of almost 40% higher than any previous month on record. A total of 23,121 parents and children traveling as families were caught illegally crossing the border last month, which is also nearly 400% higher than the figure recorded just a year ago. Why do you think that is? Yeah, it's a little something to do with the promises they won't be separated, that there's no consequences when they come, catch and release. When families, unaccompanied children, and single adults are included in the figures, the Border Patrol caught nearly 51,000 illegal immigrants in November, the highest since the illegal immigration surge in 2014. An additional 9,770 unauthorized migrants, they're not migrants, they're illegal aliens, showed up requesting entry at the official border crossings, according to Customs and Border Protection. The number of illegal immigrants, aliens, caught by the Border Patrol is considered a good way to generally estimate the overall flow, experts say, since more people caught indicates more people getting through as well. This means an increase in apprehensions usually coincides with a rise in the overall rates of illegal immigration. So the more they catch, the more they don't catch is kind of the way it is. It says, in an effort to stem the tide, President Donald Trump signed a proclamation last week that is meant to prohibit people from claiming asylum if they illegally cross the border. There's still a port of entry that they need to come through, and there's no reason they can't come to the port of entry if they're claiming asylum. But they're not doing that. They're crossing the borders illegally. They are illegal aliens. They're not immigrants. They're not migrants. They are illegal aliens. Family or not family. You know, I mentioned in my opening the disrespect of the president and the media, and I don't think that's seen any more clear than CNN's Acosta. Since the president was elected, he has been hounding him in these press conferences. Now, I would be okay with tough questions. There's nothing wrong with that, and every president deserves tough questions. But that's not the case. And when the president of the United States tells you enough, sit down, give up the mic, and you don't, I don't care if he touched the woman or not. That alone is reason enough to get rid of him. Now, there's a big discrepancy as to whether he touched and whether the tape was doctored and whether the tape wasn't. His behavior is completely and totally inappropriate. If I was his mommy, his little ear would be twisted off his head for his misbehavior. Ask the boys. They think their ears stick out because their father's does, but I think it's because their mother twisted it all the time. Well, CNN says he was just doing his job properly. No, he was not doing his job properly. It is not his job as a reporter to challenge the president or to call the president names. You can ask the hard questions. I guess that could be considered a challenge. You can ask the hard questions, but that's not what they do. I mean, when President Trump's doctor was out there, does he watch too much TV? Does he Does he have gas? They ask stupid questions. They're out to get this president. They hate him. And they show absolutely no respect. You can ask the tough questions and still be respectful. When he refused to give up his mic, whether he touched her or she touched him or nobody met contact, which they did, he forfeited a privilege given unto him by the White House. President Donald Trump, or any other president, they don't have to have press conferences. You know, we reap what we sow. We absolutely reap what we sow. So when I say it's Congress, it's the D.C. occupiers occupying offices and cutting deals, last week we threw a lot more dirty deal makers into the mix. So whose fault is it really? And going back to Charlie Reese's article from years ago, he blames the 545, which is all of Congress, Senate and the House, the President, and the Supreme Court, all of them together. But who puts them in place? It's us. Just like Dorothy in her ruby red slippers. We had the power all along, but we lost our way. We've tried everything else except going back to God and the Constitution and the rule of law. We want free stuff. We want the government to take care of us. Well, if that happens, you give up and forfeit your independence. And you become a slave to government. In a republic, we are to be the government. They are subject to us, not us subject to them. We had veterans. We had military, young men, young women, sacrifice their lives, put their lives on hold to serve a nation. And we're not going to listen to the President of France tell us that nationalism is unpatriotic. Right there at the graves of our people, sacrificed for them. Why are we willing to sacrifice at the polls? Sacrifice independence, sacrifice freedom of religion, sacrifice life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, property, and prosperity. All for what you gonna give me? Free stuff. And there's nothing free, ever. And freedom wasn't free for France or for us. So America, don't be discouraged, be determined, and let's sow righteousness and bring America home.